Tryna get to you, girl. Like what it do, girl. You make it cool.
Hey y'all, what's up? What's up? It's your one and only. As y'all know, I am back with another video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if so. And just for the record, just putting it out there, if you guys hear any background noises, as in my dog that's barking currently, or any music that just happens to be playing, or any loud yelling, please excuse my family in the background. With all that being said, y'all, let's just get straight into the video. This video is something very different, and I typically don't do videos like this that are centered around me getting very in-depth into detail about like my life, really. But I just felt like speaking on this would make me feel better in the end, and also just spread awareness to other athletes who might be going through this. So if you are a college athlete, high school athlete, middle school athlete, or you just like to play sports in general and you take it very seriously, then I would recommend that you listen very closely to everything I'm about to tell y'all. I'm about to be dropping some gems on y'all for real. Like, y'all don't even know. I'm here to help. People that have been watching my channel for a while now know that I've been playing high school volleyball for at least 2 years. And before I played volleyball, I ran track since I was a freshman in high school, but honestly, I've been running track a little longer than that, probably since I was little. But yeah, as an athlete, though, I always picture myself going far in some type of way with any sport I decided to go far with and play with. But realizing, and when the reality starts to hit on things in life and just things in general, as you start to get older, you start to realize what you're actually interested in and what you're not interested in. After choosing volleyball to be my main sport and something that I wanted to continue to play because I just loved it so much, and I just have a crazy and weird passion for it, and I've built it up over time in a short amount of time. Knowing what I know now about everything that I've been through regarding playing sports as a high school athlete and a newly college athlete has been crazy, honestly. Lots of people tell you different things about how 14% of high school students only get to play college volleyball. It doesn't matter which level you're on. It's just not many of us make it to the college or collegiate level, which sadly that is very true, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of high school athletes just choose and pick any offer that comes to them, not really focusing on all the things that could happen, good and bad. I was told in subliminal ways, I'm gonna say, that I wouldn't be able to make it as far as I did, honestly. But in order to defy the odds, you have to do what people don't expect you to do half of the time. You have to go above expectations. You have to sometimes go out your way and do things yourself in order to get things done. I honestly say all this just to say that coming into being recruited so late was that I didn't really have a really good chance at getting into a school that I actually really wanted to go to. Mind you, I was already enrolled into a school that was that had a D1 volleyball program, as well as a pretty good program in general for the career I was going into. With me being a late recruit, honestly, all things were kind of against me when it came to going for and chasing after my volleyball dreams. Honestly, I didn't have any experience with playing club or any AAU or nothing like that. I'm literally going in with coming straight out of high school, and that's all the knowledge that I have. That's all the experience that I have. I've grown so much as an athlete, and I'm quick to learn when it comes to certain things, and I've always been the type of athlete to strive and to work hard for what I wanted. I say that to say, though, that coming into college, I was very excited, and I was expecting a lot to happen for me and a lot to go my way because I knew that I worked hard for it. Little did I know, though, not everything can and will work out that way. Things in life are kind of designed to work against you, I'm starting to notice. But the one thing that makes people different from others and how you handle situations like that is how you grow from it and how you react to a situation that, may be not the best in the moment. Coming to the school named Shoreline, by the way, the school that I went to, Shoreline's JUCO. Coming into this school, I expected a lot and had a lot of expectations for myself as an athlete because I knew my potential. I knew what I was capable of. I knew what I brought to the table. No matter what I did, though, it always seemed like somebody was trying to take something away from me. It always seemed like I was never good enough. And at times, it made me feel really small because I knew that even though I wasn't as experienced as any other player that was there, I still was on the exact same level, if not higher, when it came to athleticism and all the other statistics and just things of that nature. My love for volleyball has brought me way further than I would have ever thought. And so to have somebody tell you that you aren't good enough, or to have somebody not give you a full picture of what's going on in certain situations, is actually crazy. The first month of playing college volleyball was actually pretty good. Honestly, I knew that I had some flaws coming in, but I was willing to work hard and actually show off my skills and represent my city. My dad always told me to say that this was a business trip, so keep it that way. Nothing is too personal. Work hard for what you want and go after it and be the top, be the best. So all the time that I had being there, that's literally what was on my mind. After the first month, though, I could definitely see a shift in my coaches and my team's dynamic. And one thing about being an athlete, you have to always pay attention to your surroundings, especially if you're out of state and somewhere where you're literally by yourself. You have to pay attention to literally everything that happens and what goes on. So being a natural observer was something that I already just had in me. It's something that I've always done in my life. I've always been the type to look around, to look before I react and think about things before I speak, basically. Back to my coach and my team's dynamic. So basically, after the month of, being in tournaments of preseason and things of that nature, everything was fine, everything was dandy, everything was good. Honestly, didn't expect much. I expected my college experience was what it was. It literally was at its peak the first month. After the first month and noticing that a lot of things were out of order as far as school and things of that nature, the system that the school had was just very bad. Like, nothing was ever set up how it's supposed to be. Like, college makes it seem like things are supposed to be set up and easily accessible to you, but it's really not. I had to go through processes and things of that nature all by myself with no help. And my coach at the time was working part-time, so it was never oh, coach, can you help me with this or can you help me with that? Because even if I did do that, she could never give me a full answer on anything because she was barely there. That honestly was the first red flag that I had of being here, was that having a coach who literally works part-time and who doesn't work as a coach full-time is really crazy to me. And I've never been one of the athletes to ever complain about a workout or anything that might have been going on to me. And I've never been a benched player like that in high school. So it was really an adjustment. After preseason was over, I really had a gut feeling that I was being used by my coach all the time. And after having multiple conversations and speaking up for myself, because as a quiet athlete, most of the times you get looked over. And so I was making it a point to make sure that that wasn't happening to me. So asking questions and making sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do was very important to me. So I had to learn really quickly that closed mouths definitely don't get fed. All that I've been through, one thing that stuck to me and one thing I didn't want happening to me was that I moved 1,000 miles all the way from home just to not get the opportunity that I was literally brought here to take advantage of. It never made it any better, though, that I was always constantly by myself on top of all of that. Through it all, though, I somehow, kept my mental together. I always had a good mental state, which is really a blessing because I could have easily went insane through everything I was going through. But as well as being an athlete, I really feel like that's something that a lot of people need to work on. I love the game of volleyball, don't get me wrong, and there's times where I get really passionate about it, but it never got to the point where it was taking over, like, my body, my mind, my soul. Like, it never got to the point where it was literally eating me up inside to lose a game or eating me up inside to not finish something that I started. As well as being a passionate player, as much as I speak on it, as much as I show that on the court, I would definitely say, and you can ask some of my teammates in the past how passionate I really am about the game. It was never a question for my love and my work ethic either. So when it came down to it, I was kind of confused on why I kept getting the runarounds of everything from my coach. It was honestly really frustrating, and I didn't know how to deal with it, honestly. I honestly knew that there was an issue. I just didn't know how to attack the issue and solve the issue in the moment because I just felt like I had something to prove. At the end of the day, though, I would say as an athlete, if you know what you're capable of, if you know that you're growing, if you know that you're showing improvement and doing what you have to do, but yet you're still being denied of an opportunity that you know is clearly right in front of you, that you clearly can take and clearly turn it into something, but you're not given the opportunity to, that's when you have to initially make the decision on what is best for you at the end of the day. One thing that I had really struggled with was knowing what was for me and what wasn't for me. Honestly, I knew that putting myself first was, first priority, especially being so far away from home. there was just always a little voice in my head telling me that if I do this, that maybe my situation will turn out better. But one thing that I failed to question to myself and be real with myself about was, what if things don't get better? What if things don't change? What if you do everything in your power, but things still go left? And so that's when I really had to face reality and face the facts of what was actually happening to me. In the past, though, and during the time that I was there at Shoreline, I looked on Instagram and TikTok and just a lot of videos in general about past players and people that I watched and literally admire transferred to other schools. And I always wondered why they did that. But honestly, I kind of understand the reasoning behind it. As an athlete, you have to know your worth. And I'm not saying that just to be saying to be cocky or nothing like that. I'm saying this in the most humble way possible. Knowing your worth is so freaking important. A coach will literally tell you something and then do the freaking opposite of that. And I'm literally telling y'all this from personal experience. I got recruited by my coach and I was promised everything in the world. I was promised the platter and everything on top of the platter. But yet, when it came down to actually getting the business and doing what I had to do, it was literally stripped away from me. And I can't even begin to explain to y'all how terrible I felt about the whole situation. It was literally crushing me and just every which way. It was pulling me every which way to the point where I even started to question my own abilities. Knowing what I knew then and knowing what I know now, the difference between those is that changing your mindset and changing your perspective is definitely something that I would recommend. When you start to change your perspective on a situation, it lets you look from outside looking in and then the other way around, if that makes any sense. When you approach a situation or a circumstance that you have been put in, you have to figure out your why. You have to figure out why you do what you do and what you can do to improve or either move around and find a different outcome for it, find a new solution, find a new reasoning for it. After I figured out that things weren't exactly fair in the sense of I know that as an athlete, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. My capabilities are there. There's nothing wrong with how I operate or how I move. But what was a downfall was not being told the truth about everything. And that just comes down to dealing with people who are literally not the best people to have to deal with. When you're dealing with people who come into your life to serve a purpose, you have to figure out if God is teaching you this as a lesson or just to build your character. In this moment, I feel like it was definitely both. Because honestly, it was up to me to make the choice of whether or not to come to the school or not to come to the school. But that brings me back to making emotional decisions. As a young 18-year-old girl, I was always told to shoot for the stars all my life. And that's literally something that I took so very seriously. One thing I always told myself is that no matter what decision I make, I'm making it for the reason that no matter how it turns out or how it goes, that I would never regret my decision. Because everything that I do is something that I really wanted to do. I thought about it, pondered on it, and I knew that it's something that was for me. When you let your heart make decisions on what you want to do in life, it makes it kind of hard to really focus on what really could happen to you. And I say that to say that making rational decisions or irrational decisions makes a big difference. So making a decision that's literally the best for you, but also the best for you long term and literally helps you and benefits you is the best way to go. And I'm talking about looking at all the facts. I'm talking about looking at the pros list and the cons list. Please ponder heavily on the cons list sometimes. Sometimes you gotta do it. It's okay. But even after you do that, even after you go over all the outcomes, even after you overthink the situation, then that's when you can go back and tell yourself, dang, did I really do the right thing? And is this really for me? And then you have to tell yourself that, okay, I can live with this decision. I can be okay with this, and I won't regret this. At the end of the day, I don't regret my decision of coming to Shoreline at all. It taught me a lot about myself, and I literally grew in the little 2 months that I had to be there. It just seemed like there was always something negative that was happening. And so me personally being a positive and good person that I am, to combat that was always being like, no, you just got to be positive, and maybe things will work out for the better. But we gotta be realistic with ourselves, y'all. Even as young adults, we are the new adults. We have to literally be real with ourselves for real. Not saying that I never wasn't. It was just I always felt that there was a better outcome to the things that might be happening to me. Even though things might not be working out right now, I can still fight it and do things my way and do things the way I know how to do it to put myself in a better position, basically. Regardless of what anybody could say about my journey, about volleyball and all this other stuff, I still, like I stated before in this video, I really don't regret nothing and none of the decisions that I've made. Everything that I've done with a pure heart. To keep myself whole in the whole situation of having to be put in a situation where I had to get a job, pay rent, do all this other stuff. Literally focus on things that I literally don't have to focus on was also a big thing too. You find yourself where you feel like you're in a hole or you feel like you're stuck in a place where you don't have to be, it is okay to make the decision to move around and leave. Especially at a young age, especially if you have a support system behind you. Now, I know that there are places and people who don't come from the same background as me who don't have that support system. But it's always good to have something to fall back on. So when you put yourself into positions that you can always have something to go back and have that plan B right there to catch you when you fall. Now, I'm not saying that just to be like, oh, you can just pick up and leave and quit when you feel like it, guys. No, that's definitely not what I'm encouraging. I'm just saying that when you have something that you're dealing with, you have to really talk to yourself and figure out if this is really serving a great purpose in your life. Does this really serve you? And if it doesn't no longer serve you and you have that option to go back and make the right decision and make things right, then do that. It's never too late to make things right either. That's something I also learned as well. If I had to speak on my whole experience as a whole and speak on and leave 13th, school with one thing and leave everyone that I had to deal with there during our games and stuff like that, I would say if I'm being honest, y'all, my time was wasted. My time was not valued. Even though I had got this opportunity, it was a thank you with no thank you. At the moment. Because at the end of the day, I know my worth and I know who I am as a person. And I will never in a million years let anybody make me question that, ever. And regardless of how I was treated, I would never in a million years ever do anyone how they done me negatively. I will always continue to be positive. That ain't gonna be nothing crazy. But I just want to shed light for other people so that y'all can see that things can go left. Things cannot be right. And I feel like not a lot of college athletes speak on that either. They always speak on the good side and the upside of things, but sometimes you have to look at when things don't work out as well. A lot of people like to sugarcoat their experiences as well too, but that's not what I'm here to do on my channel. Moving forward with this newfound mindset and perspective that I have over everything that I've been through and just everything that I have experienced, it has opened my mind to various things and possibilities. My future is brighter than I've ever imagined, and I'm just grateful that I honestly went through what I went through because I felt like it was a purpose and a reason behind it. And everything happens for a reason. I definitely am a believer in that. So when life gives you lemons, people, make lemonade and put ice in it and put extra sugar in it as well. People will always have an opinion on your life. Regardless if you're doing something spectacular and great and never done before versus literally not doing nothing at all. Blocking out the haters is a real thing, people. Y'all need to stop taking that so lightly. People are haters out here. People will literally prey on your downfall. Even everything that I'm speaking on as an athlete or just in general about my life, literally take what I'm saying with a grain of salt as you continue to listen. Because once again, all of this is just my opinion and my experience. Only thing I can do is advise and kind of steer people in the right direction to do, but honestly, it's up to you to make that decision. And that's something I also had to learn coming out of high school. After making the decision to leave Shoreline for good, it honestly was probably one of the best decisions I've ever made. Only because I knew that being there was not serving me any greater purpose and that it was not really helping me and really getting me to where I needed to be. My end goal is to have a career in nursing. Volleyball was literally just like the cherry on top of the cake. But all in all, I still say to this day, it was just fun while it lasted, you know? I never had any real intention of growing pro with volleyball, honestly. Volleyball was just a way for me to pay for school, if I'm being real. But now that I have a more clear mind and kind of got my college experience of being a college athlete, I can finally just go through my life not regretting anything and being fully happy with moving forward with my life and doing things that I want to do. So moving forward, that is definitely what I'm going to do. I'm going to chase after a dream and chase after a goal that's literally long term. That's literally my future. That's literally what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And I love that. Having the realization of what you wanted to do and what you actually wanted to do is very eye-opening, by the way. Volleyball is something I'm still passionate about to this day and probably always will have a love for the game. But one thing about it, I just know that I really wanted to play a few more years because I never got the full chance to really play. Even though being in college didn't really help me that much when it came to volleyball specifically, it really just opened my eyes more to the possibility of what I'm capable of and what I can do. And I am forever grateful for that realization that I had came to. Besides volleyball and everything that I had to deal with doing that, outside of that, I had a blast being in Seattle. Between going to functions with my teammates and literally just going outside and sitting outside in the dark, or going to new views, or just like I'm doing right now on a freaking ferry, y'all, for the first time, by the way. That's what this is. But even having new experiences like that is something that I would cherish forever. Even though there was a lot of negative going on in my life at this time, it was still a lot of things to be grateful for, and a lot of things positive that were happening to me as well. It was plenty of times where I just looked around and was like, dang, I might not be able to get the full experience that I want as a college athlete, but hey, babes, I'm in a whole nother state. I might as well take advantage of it. So most of the time, that's really what I did. I recorded, and I just recorded views around me, recorded my experiences, recorded what was actually fun to me. Like, come on now, look at this view. Like, who you know? Who do you know? Being a city girl and then coming out here is really crazy. Really, really crazy. But it was really cool too. I hope everything that I've spoken on and shedded light on a little bit helped y'all in some type of way. I really hope that this reaches the right audience. Even though there was a lot of things to look down and frown upon, there was still a lot of things to smile about at the end of the day. I really hope that this video resonated with those of athletes in general and just anybody who may be going through similar situations. See y'all in the next one. I'm out.